nothing but the dog in me. One must die, chase the cat.
What was that? Good evening and welcome to Posse Presents. Always fun here in the studio, always a little something going on the sidelines. It's all good. This is Labor Day weekend, 2015. Hoping that all of you have something planned for the long weekend and that it will include keeping your pets safe. I know I preach all the time, but it is what it is. Can't change me. Can't even try. Anyway, gonna start tonight talking about a lost dog. I can't imagine, I really can't ever imagine having to go through personally. I mean, I've helped with lost dogs, but I can't imagine the anguish of a dog that is either yours or that you're responsible for. It's horrifying, and it just, I don't know why, it just hits really close to home. This dog is Roxy. Let's get her pictures up, Zach. If you could scroll through the pictures we have of her, and we have her poster as well. Roxy was pulled from Meriden Animal Control on August 14th. She escaped her crate outside of the Orange Veterinary Hospital in Orange the very same morning. She ran across the post road and into the woods. Now, they've been working with a pet tracker, and there have been multiple sightings of Roxy. They've got 2 traps set, 3 trail cams, and they've had absolutely no luck getting her to go into a trap or having her on camera. She's moved a little from her original location, and they're really asking that people don't go out looking for her. She's very shy and she's very scared. People chasing her is only going to make things worse, and hopefully, people will heed that. There's a lot of times that, people mean well and they go out and, they form their own little search parties, and all that does is just make things worse for the animal. They're scared, they got people chasing them, they don't understand. You got to remember, she was pulled from a pound. It's not like she ran away from people she knows. That's to me, that's got to be the worst situation. It's bad enough when your own dog runs away, but a dog that doesn't even know you, that doesn't know that you don't mean it any harm, that you don't have a bond with, it's got to be hard. If you see Roxy, or even think you have, please call immediately. Waiting is not helpful. If you see a dog and you think it might be a dog that is lost, you've got to call right away, because dogs don't just sit there and wait for somebody to find them. They stay on the move, because they're in survival mode. They're trying to just do what they've got to do to get by, and they're not just going to stay there if you call hours later. There are posters plastered all over in the neighborhood, from what I understand. So if you don't have the number handy, you can always look for the poster. You can go on Facebook. You can do a lot of things to help if you see this dog. And if you can snap a picture of it safely, that's a very good way to know for sure whether it's the dog that is lost or not. But anyway, Roxy is a Corgi Lab mix. She's black with a few white markings, mostly on her feet, which you can see in the pictures here. She weighs about 25 pounds, so she's not a big girl. If you see her, I've got a list of numbers that I'm going to read. Call any of these numbers until you reach somebody, because they really are trying very hard to find her, and they're very concerned. You can call Debbie at 203-556-9676. Once again, that's Debbie, 203-556-9676. You can call Leslie, 413-664-2096. Once again, that's Leslie at 413-664-2096. You can call Kim at 203-801-8599. Once again, that's Kim at 203-801-8599. You can call Ray at 860-459-0896. Once again, that's Ray at 860-459-0896. You can call the Ansonia Animal Shelter at 203-410-7716. Once again, the Ansonia Animal Shelter, 203-410-7716. West Haven Animal Control, 203-937-3642. Once again, West Haven Animal Control at 203-937-3642. And finally, Milford Animal Control at 203-783-3279. Once again, Milford Animal Control, 203-783-3279. Now, Furry Friends Foster and Rescue is the group that pulled her from Meriden Animal Control, and they are responsible for her. They are out there doing everything they can to try to get Roxy back. If you're interested in calling them directly, it's 203-910-5693. Once again, 203-910-5693. They do have a Facebook page, Furry Friends Foster and Rescue, where they are posting any activity about Roxy. If you see her, please do everything you can to report it. If you can share her poster, share her pictures, share her story. You know, we need to get her out there so that people are aware that she's missing. And you know, if there's anything you can do to help, certainly give them a shout. I'm sure they would appreciate any realistic efforts in trying to find her, even if it's just hanging posters or whatever. But that's Roxy, and I really hope that they find her soon, because like I said, I can't imagine. Zach, I'll take the camera back. I can't imagine ever losing my own dog, and I can't imagine a dog in that position who, you know, come on, their heads get all screwed up in the pound. They don't know where they are. They don't know that you don't mean them any harm and that you're the good guys and you're trying to help them, and, you know, then they're lost, and it makes a real heartbreaking mess. So keep her in mind. I will have her information posted on my page, Pound Posse Presents on Facebook. And again, you can go to their page as well. And I hope they find her. Next up, I have a dog looking for a home. We've got Capone, also known as Pony. That's him in the front. I love his face. He reminds me a lot of Laurel Cox's Moo. He's got the same kind of markings and the same kind of coloring. And we all know how I love Moo. But anyway, Capone, also known as Pony. He has been in training since June. He had a foster lined up, but the foster backed out, leaving him no place to go. Capone is wonderfully trained. He's up to date on his shots. He will be neutered. He's about 5 years old, and he needs someone to commit to him, either as a foster or, you know, someone to adopt him and, you know, be in it with him for the long haul. He's a handsome cuddle bug. He's okay with other dogs if he's properly introduced. He cannot live with cats. And if you are interested in either fostering or adopting poor Capone, who is truly, he's homeless, the poor guy, you can call Mary at 413-324-6307. Once again, that's Mary at 413-324-6307. And I think he's a very handsome young man. And this is probably the perfect, I'll take the camera back, the perfect time to seg into the, if I said that, you know, Capone looks like my friend Laurel's dog, Moo, and you've seen them here on the show. It's going to be Laurel's birthday. So happy birthday, Laurel. There's a shot out in the middle of the show instead of the beginning or the end. Looking forward to having Laurel back for Senior Month in November. Seems to be one of our new traditions, and who knows, maybe it'll be Moo that she brings and maybe it won't. But anyway, happy birthday, Laurel. On a sad note, Facebook lost one of its shiny little stars yesterday. You know, we get so attached to these Facebook dogs and cats and what have you out there. They're so much more than just a page. Lil Olive. We can bring her pictures up, Zach, please. Lil Olive spent 12 and a half years in a puppy mill. She had over 20 litters of puppies, which, you know, that's horrendous. At 12, she should have been not even trying to have puppies. She should never have had to been in that position at all. You know, her body bore the ravages. There should be more, Zach. Her body bore the ravages of the neglect. She had a sweet waddle. She had a toothless, tonguey grin. She had skin and joint and other problems. For the last 2.5 years, she finally knew love after being freed by National Mill Dog Rescue. Her mom translated her personality onto Facebook, gave her a really great speech pattern, and, you know, unfortunately, people who don't get it attacked sometimes the way, I would say in quotes, Olive talked. But, you know, that's people who just didn't get it. Her Facebook page, Lil Olive, has over 33,000 fans who loved her like their own. Poor Olive had recently grown some tumors, and following the surgery to remove one, she really couldn't rally. Unfortunately, you know, she'd gotten a bit dehydrated, she had some tummy troubles, she went back and forth to the vet, but she seemed to be evening out, she seemed to be okay. And then in a just you couldn't see this coming moment, according to the post on her page, one of her frail little hips just spontaneously dislocated, leaving her screaming in pain and on the way to the vet. Apparently, the muscles and tendons in her leg were so damaged that there was nothing left to hold her hip in place. Any chance to fix her would have entailed a huge surgery that Olive just would never, ever have been able to survive. You know, it just would have been out of the question with her health, with her frailty, with the condition of, you know, her joints and her tendons and her muscles. Sadly, it was time to let her go, and, you know, now we're all mourning with her family. You know, puppy mills are such evil things, and I know I've gone there before, but Olive was really awesome. She was one of the many dogs that we see out there after getting out of the puppy mills that just capture our hearts. She was an Iggy, which are what Italian Greyhounds are known as. And, you know, it was actually quite shocking to read this last night before I went to bed. You know, she seemed to rally. So it's hard to imagine that, you know, one minute you're trying to feed her and the next minute she's like writhing on the floor screaming in pain. Whoever would have thought that would have happened. And she went out the way she did. But, you know, I guess sooner or later it's everybody's time. Zach, I'll take the camera back. You know, it really is hard. You know, we get so attached to some of these dogs on Facebook. I know I do. There have been so many that we've enjoyed on a daily basis. You know, their posts are so entertaining. Their pictures are just something else. The likes of Luca, or Lola rather, and Rufus and Spike Taylor, how I still miss him. Rosie, Leo, you know, they've all gone on, and I think that I'm not alone in that whole mourning. It hits you hard. It's like it's your own dog, you know. You just get attached. Still around with us, thankfully, are Juno and Bert and Gizmo and Titus and Haley. You know, you look forward to seeing their posts. You look forward to seeing what they're up to. And you go actively looking at their pages to see what they're up to because, you know, it's entertainment. And, you know, it's entertainment, but it's so much more than entertainment because people get attached to dogs, whether they're their dogs or they're not their dogs, you know. We love them and we fall for their personalities, and I say personalities and their antics because, you know, the dogs really aren't doing the stuff that the pages say they are, but, you fall for it, you get into it. Like I said, it's entertainment, but it's so much more because I think we all project onto our animals, different personality traits. We can envision them in these predicaments, in these situations. We fall for it, and you have to give the owners, the people behind it, so much credit for being inventive, and for the stories that they produce. You look at some of the stuff Bert does, look at the stuff Juno does, and it's so believable because you fall into this whole thing, and it's hard to describe. And then you love them like you love your own dogs, because loving is what animal people do. We love our animals, we love everybody else's animals. We can't help ourselves. So when we lose one, it's not ours, but we love it, and we feel the other person's pain, because most of us have been through that incredible loss, and some of us many, many times when a pet passes away. So we get caught up in the good stuff, and then we get caught up in the loss, and we get caught up in the mourning, and it's just, one more little crack in our hearts that we get. It's hard to explain. And like I said, I know I'm not alone with that attachment to these Facebook celebra dogs, I guess, for lack of a better word. Sometimes we are lucky enough to meet the dogs, and like me, with my little fascination with Juno, I'm in pizza sharing territory with Juno and Bert. We've got it good like that. Been fortunate enough to have her on the show, and Bert and Gizmo. It makes it, I think, even stronger. And I wish like everybody could see these dogs just like I have, because it's cool. You don't expect Juno to pick up a tire iron, but you wouldn't be surprised if she did when you ran into her. You know what I mean? And again, you've got to give the moms and the dads all the credit in the world for putting the message out there and making the personality the way it is. It's unbelievable how creative some of these people really are with what they do. Whether it's your dog or someone else's, they really do leave the paw prints on your heart. And what are you going to do? You just, animal people love. Like I said, that's what we do, and there's just no bringing it back. But anyway, I'm going to lighten it up just a little bit because I'm getting upset. On to Juno. Juno was a surprise thing for me at the Bikers Against Animal Cruelty event last week. Zach, let's get the first picture up. Juno was manning the kissing booth. You can see her down there in the corner. She was giving kisses. It was a pretty cool thing. Usually you wouldn't think of Juno as lending herself to a thing like that, but she did, and she did with flair. Smooch a pooch, and surprise, it was Juno. We've got a nice picture of Juno and the group. There you go. Juno, as always, with her motorcycle and her goggles and her helmet, her pink helmet, which I can't stand the cuteness. Then next up, we had a picture, just Mom and Juno and me, and I wish someone would have told me my hair was a mess. I know Deb was complaining her hair was a mess. Juno's the star of that picture, again with her pink helmet and her goggles. But it was a really nice surprise to see them there, and it was a really nice event where I was able to schmooze a little and hopefully cultivate some more people to come on the show. I made a few good contacts, and I will be working on that. That's one of the beauties of these events, where you can meet people and run into people and network. And I will tell you, one of the highlights of the day for me, last but not least, now riding on the back of my car. Go ahead, Zach. my Juno decal. I am such a sucker for Juno. I can't stand myself sometimes. But yeah, that's like a stencil. It's really cool, and I feel special to have it. And you betcha it's on the back of my car. Couldn't wait to do that. I think I did it Monday night when I got home. And so now Juno's always with me, and you see the little goggles and the helmet. I can't stand it. She's too cute. See what I'm talking about? You get so attached to these dogs that, you know, you just can't help yourself. Anyway, I neglected to ask Zach to, I'll take the camera back. I neglected to ask Zach to load the poster for the Pet Rock Festival, which is next week. Something that I am planning on attending. That's going to be up in Massachusetts. And for those of you who are like me and like to see all these Facebook dogs, we're going to have Juno and Bert and Gizmo and Madison and Hannah and Hudson the railroad puppy. So there's going to be a whole bunch of really cool dogs that we can hang out with. There's going to be a vegetarian food court and music and all kinds of really great stuff. It's an event that I've said that I was going to go to the last couple of years and didn't get there. This year's my year. I'm kidnapping Zach and I'm bringing him with me. Right, Zach? Zach's paying no attention to me. Oh, I can't see with the reflection. What does he think I am? I can't see without the reflection. You want me to see with the reflection? Oh, wow, what was that? I don't know what it was either. He's doing crazy things in the control room, but that's what we love about Zach. Anyway, so yeah, I think it's like from noon until 5, something like that. It runs all day. Juno's mom tells me it's like one of those events where it's jam-packed all day. There's things going on, people coming, people going, vendors coming, vendors going. So it should be a fun time. And, you know, if you're heading up there, make sure you stop and say hi if you see me. Pretty sure you can't miss me. Anyway, last week when I was here, my friend Linda was on, and that was a surprise. And we went to eat afterwards and ran into one of the young ladies I have on my Facebook page. She knew exactly who I was when I walked in the door. So I want to say hi to Shauna. Thank you for everything that night. I had a great time. And, you know, it's really nice to meet not just the animals that, you know, you fawn all over like I do, but the people that you interact with on Facebook as well. You know, you can Facebook all you want, you can type all you want, share pictures and stuff, but to actually meet people in person, it's a really awesome thing. And speaking of in person, I have tonight someone I haven't seen in a long time, freaking out because he doesn't, you don't want me to say your name? No, not even your name? Okay. It's okay? Buford Strong, down from Vermont. Seems to be like my 2 weekends for having people pop in from states away. And my partner in crime in there, Debbie, they're waving, hi. We're gonna have some fun after the show. You know, but see, now that's one of those good things about Facebook is you still get to keep in touch when people change positions and don't come around anymore. Yeah, I had one of those for you two earlier. Anyway, Zach, how much longer do we have? 3.5 minutes. Okay, we can do 3.5 minutes. Anyway, let's get those pictures up of Roxy again, in case anybody sees her. Roxy, once again, missing in Orange, ran away from the vet the day she was pulled from the pound, and unfortunately still not caught. There's her poster. You can go to Furry Friends Foster and Rescue and follow her story. Get all her information there. I will make sure she's shared on Pound Posse Presents page. Do not chase her. There's a list of numbers that you can call If you do see her, and I read them, but they're better off, you know, if you get them in print, so go look them up. And we also have Capone, who is looking for a home. Very well trained. He's been in training since June. His foster backed out. He really needs a place to go. 5 years old, up to date on shots, good with other dogs if properly introduced. And you know, so many people don't get that whole introductions with dogs thing. It's a shame, but he just cannot live with cats. So Capone is looking for a home. He can live with other dogs. He just can't live with cats. Hey, you know, not everybody's a cat person. It's all good. Doesn't make him a bad dog. If anybody is interested, I can find the number quickly. I can do this. I really can, maybe, or maybe not. Anyway, he'll be posted on the Pound Posse Presents page. And if anybody's interested in him, you can contact Mary at 413-324-6307. Once again, Mary at 413-324-6307. His story is posted on my wall as well. So if you know of anybody, if you can share him, that's what it's all about, folks. You know, people complain about sharing animals. I'll take the camera back, Zach. People complain about people like me sharing animals and posts about, you know, needing help for dogs and cats, but you just have to understand that when you put an animal out there on Facebook, you never know if you share it, who's going to see it. You know, could be that one person that says, oh my God, that's the animal for me, and therein lies your happily ever after. So don't be frustrated with people who post animals on social media, because that's the best and biggest way to get the dogs and the cats and whatever else you have out there homes. It's just a fact of life. I never thought I would have any use for Facebook, but look at me now. It's all I seem to do is be on Facebook and share animals and do my thing. So it is what it is. I mean, you know, if you don't want to see it, don't follow the person. You don't have to unfriend them. Anyway, that's my advice for you. Have a great rest of your Labor Day weekend. I'm going to say peace, love, and dogs. Until next week, good night, everybody.